I'm John Liu. Welcome to John's 5th edition of John's Safety Tip. Today I have with me
Jason Wolf. Good morning.
And we're going to talk about lockout, tagout, and some of the changes we had from the 2009 edition to the 2012 edition. And so establish an electrical safe working condition. In 2009, we had 3 forms of hazardous electrical energy control were permitted. We had the individual qualified employee control procedure. We had simple lockout, tagout, and complex lockout, tagout. In 2012, we have 2 forms of hazardous electrical energy control should be permitted: simple lockout, tagout, and complex lockout, tagout. And today we're going to cover OSHA's 1910-147 lockout, tagout, Appendix A, which lists 7 steps for lockout, tagout. In step number 1, we're going to notify all the affected personnel.
Affected personnel could include people such as our production associates, folks that work with us, supervisors, or anyone else who's working around the area or could come in contact with the equipment which we're working on.
And in step number 2, we're going to identify the type and the magnitude of the energy to be controlled.
What we have this morning is we have a 480 volt AC electrical energy source.
Step number 3, we're going to shut it down, and all parts of the operation have to be considered.
For this morning's example, we want to make sure that all the equipment that's being fed from this electrical box is in the off position before we de-energize it.
Step number 4, we're going to locate the energy isolating devices and operate them so they're in the safe or off position.
All right, notice I put my gloves on. I want to make sure I have the proper personal protective equipment on when I am interacting with this equipment. I have a category 0 here, so I've added my leather gloves, and I've also put my leather gloves over my rubber insulating gloves, since the next step, what I will be doing after I lock it out, is to take a voltage measurement to verify. So I'm going to verify the proper procedures as far as de-energizing this, keeping distance and turning away from it.
In step number 5, we're going to lock and tag out the energy isolating device.
Step number 5, with the lockout and the tagout device, OSHA gives us a couple different options to choose as far as labeling. Our tag needs to be legible, needs to be maintained, and it needs to be able to support at least 50 pounds. But the wording on it should say something like do not start, do not open, do not close, do not energize, or do not operate. Our tag obviously says do not operate, indicating that you shouldn't operate it. Why? The lock and tag is on.
Step number 6, we're going to dissipate or restrain all sources of energy. So we could have capacitors, we could have stored electrical energy, so we're going to want to make sure that we don't have any energy build up in this device. And in this case, again, we're using a 480 volt disconnect today. And so then step number 7, we're going to test before we touch.
Step number 7 is an important step. We've de-energized it, we've locked it out, but it's still not safe to work on until it's been verified. So for our verification purposes, we're going to test before we touch. We're going to want to use an approved meter, which we've verified it works before we've done the test, take our tests, and then verify once again that our meter is functioning and we got a correct reading with it. Now we're going to test before we touch. I'm going to put on my face shield because the first step that I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the door and visually verify that each one of the blades has pulled free from each phase. But to do that, I may get a little closer to it. And even though I am below 1.2 cals per centimeter squared, the closer proximity, I'm going to take the extra precaution and slip my face shield on.
And now that we've completed step number 7 and we've established an electrically safe working condition, we could go ahead and complete the task that we were assigned. Well, that's it for the 5th edition of John's Safety Tips. Join us next time when we're going to talk about complex lockout tagout procedures. Have a great day, and goodbye from John.
Let's go to work.